Hi, welcome to the 2018 Scale Back Alabama Coordinators Training. I'm Teresa Fair from the Alabama Department of Public Health, and joining me today is Pam Sparks from the Alabama Hospital Association. We're really excited to have Pam as a part of our team. She has been involved with Scale Back Alabama since it started in promoting the program in the Huntsville area. So we're very excited to have her as part of our team. What we're going to do today is give you some general information about Scale Back, the competition, as well as the program, and then we'll give you some information about your role as a coordinator. So Pam's going to start us off.
So Scale Back Alabama is actually a statewide program, and it goes throughout the entire year. The competition part of Scale Back Alabama runs from January until April, and this year it's 9 weeks in duration. Anyone who lives or works in the state of Alabama who's age 18 and older can participate in Scale Back Alabama, and there is no cost associated with participating. So for Scale Back Alabama, the goal is to lose at least 10 pounds. Each participant loses at least 10 pounds in the 9-week competition period. These teams of 2 get to compete for a chance to win cash prizes, which we'll talk about the prizes later on in the training. And as a participant, you will be receiving weekly emails. You'll have access to expert tips for nutrition and exercise. And the program is going to be run by local weigh-in site coordinators. So we appreciate you signing on to be a coordinator to help us to run the program smoothly throughout the state. Scale Back Alabama has a school program component, and it focuses on teachers and administrators, anyone associated with Alabama's school systems. It's for K through 12. And there are separate prizes for school participants. Now, Scale Back is open to those who are 18 and older, so these are not for kids to be participating for prizes, but it is for the teachers to hopefully encourage those healthy choices for their classes. As time goes on, it's so important to have adults who set good examples for kids, so we really, really appreciate our teachers who participate in the Scale Back Alabama school program. So the prizes are used to enhance nutrition and physical activity at the school. Now, the sponsors for Scale Back Alabama have been around since the beginning. It's where I work at Alabama Hospital Association, and we work closely with Alabama Department of Public Health and Blue Cross Blue Shield of Alabama. A little bit of information about why we do Scale Back Alabama and why we've been doing it for many years. The state of Alabama actually has the 3rd highest prevalence of obesity in the country. And as you know, there are many complications that come from being obese and overweight. So medical costs for Alabamians who are obese are $1.7 billion higher than those who are in the normal weight range. And that's why Scale Back Alabama is a year-round program. The goal is to encourage healthy lifestyles throughout the year, not just during the 9-week competition part of Scale Back Alabama. And we like to provide information throughout the year to encourage healthy lifestyles and lifestyle changes so that you can live healthier lives, hopefully do away with problems with obesity and being overweight, and bring down your medical costs and just live healthier, happier lives. The organizational benefits for those who are coordinators in their workplaces is you can really initiate a culture change within your organization. For those who participate in Scale Back Alabama, we encourage friendly competition where everyone encourages everyone else. You can use Scale Back Alabama to jumpstart or revive your wellness program that already exists within your organization. And we encourage teamwork. We encourage everyone working together, because if you're happy and you're healthy in the workplace, then you're going to be more productive as individuals and as teams. So your role as a local coordinator is to promote Scale Back Alabama locally, encourage online registration. We provide for you a comprehensive toolkit. You do not have to develop the materials yourself. We create posters. Everything that you're going to need is available to you on scalebackalabama.com. And we also have social media sites that are going to assist in helping you promote Scale Back Alabama in your local community. Now, the role of the coordinators is to also host weigh-in and weigh out opportunities for participants. We have designated time frames for weighing in and weighing out, which we'll talk about in a moment. And your role is to promote those weigh-ins and weigh-outs. If you have a public site, those will be posted online at scalebackalabama.com. If you have a private site only for your organization, you'll be responsible for promoting your weigh-in and your weigh-out time periods within your organization. As a coordinator, you will be responsible for entering the weights online. We provide a link for you on the Scaleback Alabama coordinator page, and it's easy to go in and enter the weights online of all your participants. And then we encourage you to do some optional activities, such as hosting your own activities. You might have weekly weigh-ins, lunch and learns, opportunities for exercise. So really it's up to you how you want to encourage those participating in Scaleback Alabama. So it's really simple to become a coordinator. You would register by sending an email to info@scalebackalabama.com. We will return to you a link where you put in all of your coordinator information, and you must be an Alabama-based company to be a weigh-in site in Alabama. We request that you have at least 3 teams to weigh in to serve as a site. So we'll want you to tell us about your organization. If you are working at a hospital, within a health department, a school, a gym, or a church, we need you to tell us what type of organization you are and if you are going to host a public or a private weigh-in site.
Okay. Thanks, Pam. All great information, important information that we'll need in order for you to register appropriately to be a coordinator. Another thing I want to point out, and to remind those returning coordinators and to let you new coordinators know, is that when you enter information onto the site, one thing it'll ask you is what your weigh-in capability is. It'll ask you what your upper limit of your scale is, and that's very important because we want our participants to know which sites are going to be the most appropriate for them to go to be able to weigh, depending on how much they weigh. I want to go over some information with you about the guidelines as well. As Pam stated, you have to plan to weigh in at least 3 teams at your organization. You can't weigh yourself, but you can participate in the program. You just have to let someone else weigh you. As a coordinator, you can't weigh yourself. We are very, very, very hopeful that you will take every effort to make the weights confidential. They have to be kept confidential because it's a very important and sensitive issue for a lot of people, how much they weigh. So keeping them confidential is very important. Try to use the same scales during the entire competition. That's just so there can be consistency throughout. And be very sensitive to individuals with varying abilities. We have videos that you can watch that gives you a little bit more information on that, but basically what they are looking at is trying to help you to work with people who may have difficulty walking or who may need a larger font when they're looking at reading materials. So anybody with varying abilities, just be mindful of that and watch those videos so you can get a little bit more information about that. Now, in terms of the registration for the participants, they have to be teams of 2. So when they come to your weigh-in site, they should come, if they have pre-registered and they bring their form, it should have 2 people's names on it so you can record the weight for 2 people because they have to be on teams of 2. The participants can register via the phone app that we have, or they can register via the website if they pre-register. They can also come to an official weigh-in site, which you will be, and they can register on site. So make sure that you have copies of your registration form there for you to be able to record their information when they come into your site. Now, when we talk about the data entry, make sure that you adhere to the deadlines, and we'll give you some information about the deadlines in just a little bit. But you have to adhere to the deadlines so that you enter the information in a timely manner. That is required for the participants to be eligible for the prizes. When you go in to enter your information, you can search. If they've pre-registered, you can search the participants by their team name, if they have one, and that's not required. That's totally optional. But if they have a team name, you can search by the team name, by the individual name, or by the address that they provide for you in order to find those participants and make sure that they're matched up. As I said, make sure you have your paper registration forms on site so that those who don't pre-register will have an opportunity to do that on site. Now here's information about the competition prizes. They haven't changed since last year. You know, I said they have to have teams of 2. So we'll have 3 teams of 2 that will win the prizes that are listed on your screen. We'll have 3 teams that will win $1,000 per team member, 3 teams that will win $500 per team member, and 3 teams that will win $250 per team member. We'll have 40 individuals who will be eligible to receive $100 cash prizes, but in order to be eligible for either the individual or the team prizes, each person has to lose 10 pounds. So each individual has to lose 10 pounds in order to qualify for the individual prizes, and both team members must lose at least 10 pounds to qualify for the team prizes.
I think it's important to note, too, that this is not a competition to see how much weight you can lose. This is a competition to make sure that each team member, both team members, loses 10 pounds each. That's the thing that will make you eligible for the cash prizes. So you don't have to think, if I lose more weight than someone else, then that's going to increase my chances of winning the cash prize.
Good point. Thanks. Another tip that we want to advise you of is to make sure that you add info@scalebackalabama.com to your email pass list. That's just to make sure that you're able to get the information that we send to you in case your organization has a block on what can and cannot come into your email list. We want to make sure that you check your data very thoroughly so we can make sure that you're entering the weights correctly, that you have the email addresses and the physical addresses of your participants entered correctly so that everything will be thorough, because we need to know where to send their checks when they win. And also be very strict with the weigh-in times and dates. We have, and I'll tell you what those are in just a minute, but we have to make sure that you weigh people in during the designated weigh-in week dates, and during the designated weigh-out times and dates, just so that we can be fair to everyone who participates in the program. That's very, very important. Now let's talk about some of the key dates. We're going to start with registration a little bit earlier this year than we did last year, or this program period than we did last time. The deadline to register as a coordinator is going to be December the 1st. And if you register by December the 1st, then you're eligible for a $100 cash prize. That'll be done through a drawing, so everyone who registers by that December 1st date will be eligible for that $100 cash prize. Also noteworthy is that the participants will be able to register starting December the 1st. So we want people to start registering as early as possible. So be sure to encourage your participants to register as soon as possible. And they can start doing that, like I said, starting December the 1st. On January the 9th, we'll have a statewide kickoff of the competition and the program. January the 10th will be the deadline to enter your public weigh-in site information. And we want you to do that as quickly as possible, because when January 22nd starts, which is the beginning of the weigh-in week, we want people to know well in advance where our weigh-in sites are going to be, so they'll know and be able to plan strategically where they're going to come. Our weigh-in week starts January the 22nd, and it goes through January the 28th. And remember, during that week, you can set whatever times you want to set on whatever day during that week you want to do the weigh-ins. We really would hope that you're able to do it multiple times during that week, but if you're only able to do it one day for a certain period of time during that day, that's perfectly okay too. It's just whatever works best for your organization. February the 2nd is the deadline for entering your team weights. So we want to make sure that we get that information in, that it's put in accurately by February the 2nd, so that we can make sure we have all the participants entered into the system. And March the 21st is the deadline to enter your weigh out site information. We want our participants to know where the sites are going to be, what times you're going to be available for them to come back to your site to weigh out. Please encourage your participants to weigh out regardless of the amount of weight that they've lost. We really need to capture any amount of weight that's lost. We are hoping that everyone loses 10 pounds, but even if they don't, if they only lose 5 pounds or 2 or 3 pounds. It's a pound closer to a healthier lifestyle. So we want to be able to capture that information and brag on the progress that Alabama is making. April the 2nd through the 8th is the Weigh Out Week. So make sure that you publicize that to your employees, what time you're going to, or your members, what time you're going to be available during that week. April the 13th will be the deadline for you to get your team weight information to us. That's very important because that's when we're winding down the program, winding down the competition. So April the 17th is when we'll have the prize drawing. So it's very important that we get those weights entered into the system by April the 13th, so that we have that time to get that information into the system. It's a very short turnaround, so we ask that you please, please, please have your information in by April the 13th. There are tons of resources, like Pam mentioned, on the Scale Back Alabama website. There's a coordinators only section. When you go into that section, this training video will be there. There's a planning toolkit that has tons of materials in it. It'll have your registration forms in it. It'll have the guidelines for participants that you can give to them. It has information on, Pam was talking about some of the optional things that you can do. It has some suggestions of what those optional things can do. I talked a little bit about the videos for people with varying abilities. Those videos are in the coordinators only section as well. In order for you to publicize your weigh-in time, dates and times, you have to have posters. So there's a opportunity in the toolkit or in the coordinators only section where you can order your posters, your weight tracking cards, and you'll need to have those so you can give your weight tracking cards to the participants when they come to weigh in. And also the key dates will be listed. If you have any questions about anything as you go through your process, please feel free to contact us. There's a screenshot there that just shows what our contact us page looks like. You can ask any question that you might have. We're here to help you to be able to run your weigh-in and your scale-back program as successfully as possible. There are no stupid questions. We welcome any questions, but I would advise you to go to the frequently asked questions section. If you have a question, just review that first to see if that question has already been asked and we've posed a response to that question. If you don't find what you're looking for there, please feel free to contact us at any point that you need to. And I do want to make you aware that Scale Back Alabama does not endorse any specific diets, any products or fitness routines, and we ask that the coordinators avoid doing this as well. You know, sometimes we get requests to do things that may not be the most healthiest of things or things that people want to publicize and promote, and we are not involved in that. Please, we ask that you don't do that either. We also ask that you please build your participant communications around the health tips that are posted on the Scale Back Alabama website. We have some Scale Back experts that are going to be giving us information on health and wellness that will be shared on social media. We ask that you retweet those, that you post those on your Scale Back, on your Facebook pages, so that we can continue to share the messages of health and wellness. And any lunch and learns and things that you do, please use the health tips in order to do that. We have those that are being created by registered dietitians and some physical activity experts that are giving good information on what you can do in your process of health and wellness to participate in Scale Back Alabama and not only lose weight, but to be healthier as well. We thank you so much for participating in this coordinators training. There is absolutely no way that we could do this program without you. You guys are instrumental in helping us to spread this throughout the state. We cannot reiterate how much we appreciate you. We are very thankful for all that you do. And as I stated, if you have any questions about anything, please feel free to contact us.